Good evening, everyone. This is Alan Tanner, and I'm alongside Dylan Vaughn for WVRC Clay County Sports. This is our weekly coaches show, and we are live this evening, so thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the show. We got some guests on tap for you, and sitting here between us is Coach Danielle Champ. She is the coach of the volleyball team, so we're going to talk a little volleyball here for just a few minutes. Hopefully you were able to watch our live from last night. The volleyball team had a scrimmage, and I gotta say, I don't know how you felt, Dale, but that was exciting stuff.
I was impressed. Like I said on the broadcast last night, that was probably the first volleyball game I've watched since I was in high school. I was very, very impressed with the speed of the game. I know Alan was calling play-by-play, so he was back and forth with everything, and there was really no moment to really get a word in. So I was very impressed with how fast the game goes. I didn't remember that from high school.
Well, definitely enjoyed it. Is my sound okay?
Yeah.
I guess I'm hearing a little bit of echo, but we'll work through that. That's okay. Yeah, the girls played really well. I watched some volleyball last year, and I can see a vast improvement. Of course, we'll talk about that a little bit. That's a credit to Coach Champ here. She's done a great job. The girls have been working hard. And, folks, listen, if you haven't been out to a game, the season's just getting started. Make sure that you come out and support these girls because it was tremendous. We saw kids diving into the stands, second row of bleachers. We saw volleys that went, 2 minutes or maybe even longer, and so long that I was getting tongue-tied and running out of things to say. So it was really fun. So anyways, that was an awesome
It was
thing.
exciting for sure, Al.
Yep. All right, let's see here. So, Coach Champ, I know you got practice. You actually got girls down there working right now. Is that right?
Yeah.
So let's get right into it. And can you tell us, just to start, what are some expectations for this year?
I think a big thing we'd like to work on this year is just volleyball IQ, kind of watching where those holes at and being able to go there without our body language saying it. Of course, we got to improve a lot on serve receive, just some little kinks we got to work out on. But overall, I think volleyball IQ is going to be my main goal, and then just to let them grow as an individual and get there. Every year we set individual goals as well as team goals at the beginning of every season, and if they can at least mark off 2 of the 3 of those goals, then I feel like I've done what I was supposed to do.
For sure, yeah.
Well, I'll say in any sport that you coach or play, if kids know the game and know it really well, that just makes things so much easier. You can't tell them exactly what to do every single time.
Right.
And so you mentioned that. That is, so important. And I know you guys, the record I don't think indicated how well they played last year.
Right.
I know there were some tough losses, but you guys won maybe like 4 out of the last 6 matches or something to that nature when I was looking at the schedule. So you think that's helped going into this year?
Yeah, I think it's a confidence thing. I think a lot of them lack the confidence, and I think that as they get older and the more practices we have and the more that they bond as a team, the more the confidence helps. So I do think our schedule, our wins definitely did not show the improvement that they did from the beginning to the end last year.
Absolutely. I think you showed a lot of improvement from the beginning of the scrimmage last night to the end, and the girls played hard throughout. Riverside's a good volleyball team. They had some height on that front line, and Jason and Alan and I all kind of commented height might be a problem for us this year. I did kind of we mentioned during the broadcast that when Skyly came in, you can tell she's out there on that front line, and she's good at blocking the spikes and all of that volleyball lingo. But I was very impressed with how hard they played throughout the whole match. So that's a testament to you guys. And I like those goals that you've set. Like Alan said, you got something to work towards. And maybe last year's record didn't indicate, but this year we can really bring it back. I'd like to ask you a question about last night's scrimmage. Who stood out to you in your eyes? This could be either JV or varsity because we did watch both. Was there anybody that just kind of your eyes were like, wow, they didn't show this in practice, or maybe they did show it in practice, but they even elevated it a little bit last night?
Yeah, I feel like there's not one that's just like really stood out. As a whole, I feel like they stood out on some of the things that we've been trying to fix. They really improved for all of them as a whole, from read and base. which is kind of like your standard position you need to go to before you adjust to wherever the ball is going for defense.
Sure.
And they really improved from the first scrimmage to the next. And then, I've got to give it up for the JV because they've really impressed me this year.
Absolutely. We were impressed by the JV. There was a couple of girls that we thought stood out to us on JV. One I actually taught in first grade over at H.E. White, Hannah Gandy. She really put on a show back there serving. I think she went on a couple runs where she got, 4, 5, 6 points in a row. And that can really give you some momentum going into the season. Alan, did you have anybody that stood out to you last night?
Yeah, actually, I can't remember her first name, the 9 girl.
Chloe.
Chloe 9, yes. She, I thought she played really well and provided some height. And so overall, we were talking about that last night. And do you feel this way? Maybe they've been coached at the middle school level and prepared for high school volleyball.
Yeah, the way Abby has it, she gets them prepared for that, and I feel like it's really transitioned, and it's helped a lot. They are very well coached, and she's done a great job with them.
Awesome.
Yep. Now we mentioned, of course, now maybe we don't have as much height as we'd like. And Dill, maybe you already asked this. I had to step out for a minute, but what do you think some of the strengths are of this team?
Yeah. They're coachable. They're a really good coachable group.
Can't ask for anything more than that.
No, you really can't. They're fun. They're just they all get along, and that's a big thing too, especially with girls. They do so well together, and it's fun. I don't know if anybody was in here for the parent meeting, but on Monday they came all dressed in. They had bikinis over top of their clothes. We do a fun day every week. That goes into practice. So we've bonded really well. They're just, I don't know, you just grow attached.
I like that coachable word, Al. If you remember back to our high school football days, we had a T-shirt made. Coach Clemon made it for us.
Yes.
If you're coachable, you're playable. And he would always say, you can have all the talent in the world, but if you can't coach them up, you're not going to do anything. So
That's right.
I really like that answer for sure.
So you said you have like fun practices, that's interesting.
We don't go out there and goof off, but once a week we have a theme practice.
Okay.
So like last week it was red, white, and blue day. This week it was beach day. I think next week's Western. So you never know what they're going to come dressed as. They might. One girl was wearing goggles and snorkels, and it's just something neat. We post pictures within our little, the team group chat, and just something that they can make memories of.
That's awesome. That's something for them to look forward to, just a little fun thing to add a little wrinkle. Practice can be very boring and not look forward to it sometimes, so adding a little fun time in there, I really like that. Appreciate that.
I think last Friday for we had like a pop quiz, and after their little quiz, then we had a talent show.
Nice.
So just something just to kind of help bond, help with the team bonding.
Camaraderie.
I remember, and I hate to keep going back to old stories, but those are the things I remember from when we played in high school. It's the talent show we had in the locker room for football. So I'm sure these girls are going to remember that. Even if they don't have the season that they're hoping for, they're going to remember these practices and the fun times they've had.
Right.
I might have to sneak down and see some of these things.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I'd like to ask one more question if you got time for it. What message would you like to share with fans about the season coming up? Maybe if they didn't get to watch last night's scrimmage, which you can go back and watch it on YouTube. If they didn't get to come out and watch it live, what message would you like to give them about these girls? Maybe shout out how hard they play and tell them what they can expect to see if they come and watch them on a Tuesday or Thursday night.
Yeah. Well, just expect for them to give it their all. Whether they win or lose, they're going to give their all no matter what. Like you said, they don't have the height, but it comes with their grit. Sure. It replaces it with grit, and they're going to give it their all. And the more the fans that come, or they see that, they see the crowd cheering, and that hypes them up. So if the more people that will come out and really just cheer for them, that's the better. We want to see a big crowd, and win or lose, just tell them good job.
Absolutely.
Were you impressed as we were with the amount of students there last night?
Absolutely. For a scrimmage.
That's what we thought. And I know open house was last night, but they stayed for the game, and they're not in school. These kids are on summer break.
Right.
And so they were loud. I think everybody felt like when the crowd got loud, when the students got loud, the momentum
Absolutely.
started changing. So that was awesome. Let me ask you one more thing. I know you got practice,
Yeah.
and you're taking time out. We really appreciate it. We want fans to come out, and although we want them to watch on WVRC, we want them to come out and be a part of these games. What if there was one message that you would like to share with fans that are watching about this volleyball team? What is it that you would want them to know?
So, well, first, we appreciate you watching. That's the big thing, you know, that helps. But just know that these girls are giving it their all. They are
Sure.
They are such a good group of girls. Academically, they're fun. They're so much fun, and you know, just I don't know. They deserve some recognition, and
Absolutely.
and we just appreciate, even, you know, if there's 20 people on, of course we always want more, but just know that they're working and they will continue to get better. They are very coachable, and just stick with them.
Well, we can attest to that. They played super hard last night. We made several comments, especially on the dive into the bleachers. That was an amazing play, even if we didn't end up getting the point. But we commented on how many bumps and bruises they're probably going to have, how many scrapes they're going to have. So I appreciated that. I'm sure all the fans appreciate it as well. But we appreciate you coming on here and giving us your time, Alan. I'll let you close it out with Coach.
Yep. Well, again, girls did an awesome job. Please tell them that from us.
Yeah.
And I saw them out there immediately just a few minutes ago, out there packing those poles, setting them up, getting things ready. So they're ready to get better. So we're going to let you get out of here. Thanks, Coach. Again,
Thank you.
When's your next home game? I guess I should have had
I
that
think
written
it's
down.
September 19th, somewhere around there, I believe. Yeah. That's the first. You got several away games before then, but that's the first home one. We'll get it for sure to you, but I believe September 19th will be the date.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll be live then. Coach, thanks so much. Again, fans, come out and support this volleyball team, and we're going to take a quick break. Enjoy these commercials from Clay County Schools, and we will be back with another guest.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Yep.
Schools is where tradition and innovation come together for every student. With 95% of our teachers certified, our classrooms are led by passionate educators who know that learning begins with connection. Thanks to the support of our community, we're now a one-to-one iPad district, bringing opportunity to every hand and every home. From improved attendance to wraparound support through communities and schools, we're lifting up the whole child. As a proud Purple Star district, we stand with our military families, honoring service and building resilience. And with a 95.9% graduation rate, our students are not just crossing the stage, they're stepping into bright futures. This is Clay County Schools, rooted in tradition, driven by progress, and united in purpose, where every student matters, every moment counts, and the future is brighter because of what we do today.
All right. We are back, and again, fans, I can't say this enough. If you if you get a chance, come out and watch that volleyball team. And we're going to try to learn some of the lingo. I think I said the word bumps it over about 400 times.
That's all right.
So
That's all right. That's what they were doing. I mean,
I went home last night and was watching it back, and of course, my wife used to play a little volleyball, and I was like, "What do I say besides the word bump?" So forgive me. I know there's a lot of fans out there that are probably thinking, "These guys, what are they talking about?" But we're getting there. We are getting there. And don't forget, you can. There is a chat, I believe. Is that right? When
Yes.
you watch it on YouTube, so you will be able to comment on some things. So hopefully, you guys can give some feedback as well. And also, we were not able to go live on Facebook last night
Correct.
due to some sort of 60-day deal.
yeah.
Not sure exactly the case, but we will be able to go live on Facebook and YouTube as well. So that's coming up. All right. Well, I'll tell you what, Dill. Let's get somebody else in here. Do we have
We
our
might be
AD?
messed up on this microphone here. I'm wondering.
We may very well be. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
You got me?
So I think you're number 3.
Okay.
This one must be number 2.
All right.
And that's all right.
Yep, we're good.
It's all right.
We're good. All right. Well, fans, I'll tell you what. Let's welcome in AD, Coach Krajewski. Coach, thanks for coming into the studio with us. Can you hear us?
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Can you hear us all right?
Yes.
Okay, so, and fans, remember, we are live this evening. Everything else has always been pre-recorded, so this is new. We may hit some bumps along the way, but that's okay. So, Coach, welcome in, and let me ask you this first. You were at the game last night. What did you think of the volleyball team?
Well, first of all, I'll say this before I talk about the volleyball team. What a great crowd there last
That was
night.
amazing.
I mean, it really was.
Absolutely.
It was like I wasn't able to be in the gym from about 5:30 till about 5 till 6, and I walked in and I was like, holy cow, there's a lot of
For
people in
scrimmage.
here. So, well, I think, they have one senior on their roster, a lot of freshmen, mostly freshmen, to be honest with you, some sophomores and juniors. So it'll be growing pains, but, the younger girls played really well, I thought, and the older girls played well earlier, and it's just one of those things that they'll figure it out as far as it goes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, sure.
let me say this too.
Yep,
Hold on, I'm going to say
absolutely.
this. I'm going to just say this right off the bat. I want to thank you two and Mr. Nichols last night for the production of the volleyball game. I didn't watch it all, but I watched parts of it when I got home last night, and you guys are probably going to get paid a lot more one of these days.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. This guy over here, if I watched it back last night, you probably couldn't have watched a better play-by-play announcer if you were on ESPN.
I'll agree.
No, I can't.
I'll agree.
I've told this to everybody I've talked to
Make me
today about it.
blush.
Volleyball's so fast, there's not a whole lot to add in
Yeah.
between. But this man right here, he memorized the names quick. Now, I couldn't do that for sure. And it was bam, bam, bam. He was all over it. So I got to give big props to him.
Yeah, I actually remember watching the second set of the varsity game, and I expect maybe he could remember our girls a little quicker, but they hit it over to the Riverside girls, and
Yeah.
he was telling names. I'm like, how does he know that already?
Yes,
So,
we actually commented on that right after the broadcast. Jason brought it up as well, so we were all
I have
impressed.
always been told to have a face for radio, so maybe that's why.
Yeah, maybe
I
so.
don't know. But yeah, just an awesome evening, and we're excited to get back at it. So can't wait. And now, as AD, of course, I was talking to you earlier. We're going to try to go live again Friday. So fans, make sure you tune in Friday night at Shady Spring.
and that's a 5:30 start. I'll talk about it a little bit more here in a minute. It's 5:30 start. Shady Spring, you got to go through the big city of Beckley, which maybe is not huge, but traffic is an issue.
Good point.
And it's a earlier start at 5:30. So I would ask the fans probably to get down there as quick as they possibly could, because the traffic could get bad.
The
that's a
last
good
time
point.
we were at Shady Spring, Coach, you and I, part of that coaching staff, it was just about 12 degrees below zero.
Yes, it was.
That was the coldest I have ever been, and I'm not sure how those kids even caught that football.
It's one of the few times I remember the rain literally was not coming straight down. It was going sideways.
Yep.
It was miserable.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was miserable.
Well, that's about Friday. Now, I do have a question for you here. Now, I've been telling fans about event passes.
Okay.
And as far as I'm understanding, last year's passes are still good for this year. Can you tell us a little bit about that, just to make sure we're right?
Yes, and it wasn't anything major last night, but we'll say it again. I want people that are out there listening, watch this, tell your friends, tell your neighbors and everything. So event passes that you filled out for and got last year are still good this year. They'll actually be good for the next 4 years.
Okay.
If you do not have an event pass, it is easy. I wrote down the steps here. I'm going to go nice and slow so that everyone can have a chance. If they rewatch this, they can do this. Okay, so to get your event pass, go to claycountyschools.org, click on the menu tab, and then click on the word athletics. So you click menu, you'll see the word athletics. Click on that, and then after that, you'll click the excess levy sporting event pass.
Okay.
And then once you do that, they're going to ask your name, all that information that they need. The event pass will go to Mr. Jeffrey Crockless, our Director of Technology. He will see that. He will make the event pass. And I know last year we had a couple of times where we just, before school started and everything, we had after school a couple of hours, and we gave those out. Didn't find a whole lot of success with that. We don't mail them, but we will have them in a box. They were there last night. If you know that you filled out one earlier, or and even if it was last year, we have them in a box. I know Jeffrey gave me probably 10 to 15 new ones last night, so come to the sporting event, say, hey, my name is, I filled out the event pass information. Do I have one? And they're in the box. We'll look through it and probably locate it.
So that was actually my next question. So even if you didn't fill one out last year, you still can. And I just literally followed your directions on my phone and was able to get to the form really, really easy.
It's kind of hard to find when you don't have the directions, but once you get the directions, you can it's pretty easy to follow along.
Menu, athletics, and then it's right there.
Yes.
Yep. Okay. And again, that's for fans who, if you have a residence in Clay County, you can get one of those.
Yes.
And any sport, not just fall, spring, winter, any sport that is Clay County sponsored.
Any home event that we have, that card will work.
Okay.
We scan it, your name comes up, and we move on. So pretty good deal.
Yep.
Easy enough.
Absolutely. Now, it will not work at the Little League football games because that's not a Clay County affiliation, right?
Yeah, that's not like an SSAC event. But
Okay.
any high school, any middle school event, it will work.
Okay. Awesome.
Well, I see you have do you have anything else you'd like to talk about before we kind of move on to something more sports related?
Yeah, I wanted to put this in, and this has really worked really well, and we did it all last year, especially during football season. But I want to invite any business or organization or any individual, as far as that goes, if they would be interested in sponsoring a football game or a volleyball game, especially here in the fall. We're looking for those. And then obviously in the wintertime, we'll talk about basketball games. But any organization, any company that would like to do that, if they can just call the high school, they can leave their name and number. I will get back with them, and I'd probably maybe just discuss it with them, what all that it takes care of, what it does. But here's what I thought last night, or when I even wrote this a little while ago, is your volleyball game last night, when I looked on YouTube before I came here, we'd already up to like 650 views of the volleyball game last night.
Oh, nice.
So we have a great platform. I think people, the longer this goes, the more people are going to watch. They're going to maybe not watch it live, but they're going to go home. Their son or daughter made a great play, and they're going to fast forward to that to see it. And I think if, as a business, and business has done in the past when we didn't have this, but as a business, you're going to get recognized, your name will be there, and it's just a great way for people to recognize your business here in Clay County. And we have, around here, we have a lot of businesses that even if they do sponsor something, it doesn't necessarily benefit them in a way because they just might not be selling to the average person, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it is also, and they will tell you this, it's their way of showing, yes, they support Clay County and they support the community of Clay County. So, like I said, I'm looking for anybody that would like to sponsor, and I'll give you more information if you just contact me here at the high school.
And that's, you'll actually be the sponsor for that entire game.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, your name will be mentioned several times. I'll go into a few of it. We give you a plaque, not that not that's a whole lot, but
right.
I've walked into several businesses who have sponsored a game before, and they've got that plaque hanging up on the wall. So I think it means something to them, and obviously it helps our student athletes. It cuts down on the cost of officials and ticket takers and all the things that are needed to actually run a game.
Okay.
And that money can be reinvested back into the athletic program to buy stuff for our kids when they need things.
Okay. Well, fans, remember that. If you got business, people want to sponsor, please do so. Now, I do have some questions here. Can I ask you some sports questions?
Sure.
That'd be all right?
Yeah.
So we were going to have Coach Matt Stricker on. Unfortunately, he had an issue, but we're going to try to get him next week. We were talking to him a little bit. I'm not real familiar with cross country. But did I hear him right that these athletes run 3.1 miles every race?
3.1 miles.
3.1 miles.
And as far as I know, they look forward to it. It looks like to me before they get ready to take off, they're stretching and they enjoy it. And I think we talked a little bit about it last week, and we're going to have an event over at Dundon at the end of September. And I would really just invite anybody to come out there. It is amazing. It really and truthfully is.
That actually was a question of mine. So can you go to a cross country event?
Yeah, you
Number
can.
one, and what are you going to see?
Well, obviously you can go to a cross country event. Obviously you're not going to see a whole lot. A lot of people like to watch them take off, and most of the times they take off. The start and the finish line is about in the same place, so you can see the takeoff. You lose them. And, of course, when you hear 3.1 miles, you think you lose them for a long time. You don't lose them for a long time. You lose them. You lose them for, depending on the runner, 18, 19, 20
That's
minutes,
amazing.
and they're back.
20
and
minutes.
they are literally running just as fast when they finished than when they took off. It really is amazing. But you think you're like, oh, we're going to be, a long time seeing them. 18 minutes later, here they come across the finish line, and it really is good stuff. And you have to admire those kids, honestly. I mean, you just think about it, you have to. And, Coach Stricker and I have talked several occasions, and one of the goals that he has is, he tells his runners, we're not necessarily worried about the other runners, but what you want to do, obviously, time is the factor. But they want to run their personal best each time they go out. Now, I don't figure they do that every time, but think about it. That is a great goal, that if you can get out there and you can run a time to begin with, and you can see yourself improving through the years, through the year, that would be through the season. That
From
would be
what
great.
I've seen with this personal best, you're not going to improve by 2 or 3 seconds every time. It could be a millisecond that
Yeah.
you're improving by, and you're happy with that.
Yeah, you'd be happy with that. So I'd just be happy to finish
Yes.
within a couple hours, I would
Yes.
think. So
18 minutes, I might
Well-
not make it a mile.
We were now, from what I understand, we are going to do a live event, the Buffalo Creek Invitational, and I know Clay County Schools has a drone that will be able to maybe see some of the course, and I know that also they were looking to maybe have a little preview of the course on a side-by-side. That's the only way I'll be going out on that course, on a side-by-side, I
Yes.
promise you that. So that's something to look forward to, and I guess there's even a creek crossing, and they run literally through the water, and I think there's a ton of teams coming from all over the place.
There's middle school boys and girls will run. Then we'll have a little bit of a break, and then the high school boys and girls will run. So a lot of runners. I know, obviously, we didn't have it last year. 2 years ago was my first look at it, and I was amazed. And, of course, the kids love that creek. Now, they like, and I don't know, I'm going to guess from the creek to the finish line, 500 to 1,000 yards, somewhere around in there. So they hit the creek last, and I remember it had rained a day or two before the event last time, and some of the smaller middle school boys and girls, you were just like hoping that they could get
Come
through
out to
that.
the other side.
Come out
on.
the other side, please.
Can you swim?
So yes, but good stuff. And if watching those kids' faces, they're tired to begin with, obviously, but that little creek adds to it, and it really is. And I know a lot of people were upset last year or missed it, and we wanted to get it back this year.
That's
Absolutely.
exciting. That's exciting.
As AD, I know you're around a lot, and I'm wondering, and I know me and Dill mentioned it before we went on air, did they just run in practice? They just go out and run 3 miles for practice every day? And
I don't know if they run the whole 3 miles each practice, but I know I hear when I hear Coach Stricker say this, I laugh like loud most of the time. He says they have a warm-up mile. Now, I don't know what a warm-up mile. Yeah, that's a lot of warming up as far as I'm concerned. That's a lot of warming up. So
wow.
they have a warm-up mile, and I'm sure they do take. And I'd say they probably run a little bit more than that at times, just so that the 3.1 doesn't overwhelm them.
Oh, I'm sure.
So,
I'm sure.
Oh, my gosh. Well, that's pretty impressive.
yeah.
Hopefully we'll have a chance to get Coach Stricker on. He can tell us. Is their first event coming up soon?
Yeah.
Is that right?
So let me give you a couple of upcoming events. Their first event is this Saturday. It's at Riverside High School.
Okay.
Starts at 9 a.m. We also have volleyball next Tuesday at Summersville, and that starts at 5 p.m. And then the football scrimmage for this Friday, again, we just said it's at Shady Spring. It starts at 5:30. One more time. If you're planning on going, I would try to get out as early as I could and not catch some of the Beckley traffic. And so what we're going to try to do, and we've talked about this on this show, is we're going to kind of go from a Wednesday to Wednesday thing, and we want to make sure everybody knows what's ahead for the next week, and then we'll backtrack and go over the things that have happened in the week before that with some coaches and some players once everything gets started.
All right. Well,
Let me
anything
ask
else?
you. Let me ask you one more thing.
Sure.
Do we
All right.
have any updates on the possibility of a home football game against Midland Trail here in a couple weeks?
Well, we have a lot of stuff going on with
Sure,
that.
yeah.
So obviously, we're waiting as long as we can to see the status of the turf and if it's going to get finished. We are definitely going to make a final announcement by Friday. I really don't have any idea. So I know I talked to Superintendent Mr. Dobbins. I think him and I were going to go down and visit tomorrow and get a little better idea.
Okay.
If we aren't, well, here's the deal. We are going to play Friday, August 29th, somewhere, I believe, unless we just happen to move it to a Saturday, but that's not the plan. We'll play Friday 29th. We're kind of looking, if it's not at home, it might be at Midland Trail, and then we also may be looking at doing a neutral site game as well. So, but football's a little different in the fact that it's just hard to cancel on one day and then play the next day. So we got to give it a week's time to get everybody notice, everybody that's involved in it, and make sure that everybody's up to date so there's no questions, where, when, and all
Where
that
can
stuff.
somebody look to possibly find that information? Will it be on Facebook?
Well, I'm going to say that the Clay County Schools Facebook page will probably be the first one to post it. Clay County High School Athletics Facebook page will be, we'll post it as well. And as I've said,
We'll have tons of viewers Friday night. I'm
and
sure.
you'll have tons
we'll
of,
talk
and,
about
and
it.
we'll probably, hopefully, we'll have a little closer to the right answer or the correct answer by the time on Friday evening. So.
Okay. Well, I was down there. Actually, I walked down today, and that is beautiful.
It looks great.
I know that you know what turf looks like, but when you see it on Bradley Field, you're like, oh, is this happening? And also the thing that we haven't really mentioned, they've concreted the outer edges so the sidewalks are easily that visitor side is easily accessible where you were once kind of managing the hillside.
I call it's like a defined space. When you're looking at that space, what that is. That's the sidewalk. That's where you're walking at. To me, it almost looks, and it probably isn't, even though it's up there, it almost looks like there's more room now than what there was. I don't know.
I thought the same thing.
That's just probably just my eyes playing tricks on me. It looks like there's a little bit more room on the side. I walked the other day on the visitor side, and I'm like, don't get me wrong, it's still a little small, but still felt like it was maybe it had just a little bit more room than what it had in the past. So just nice defined spaces.
They were doing some work on the softball end. And you just don't realize that's going to be a beautiful place to play softball.
Well,
we might have went from one of the, maybe, forgive me for saying this, one of the worst facilities to watch a game to now it could be one of the nicest fields in the state.
It was very hard to watch a game there. I think that's been improved. And just like I said about the football end of it, there's defined spaces everywhere. You can tell the dugouts are raised a little bit. There's just a lot of different things going on with it. And so I think everybody's excited to see the final product. It's been fun to watch it, and you drive by one day and you're like, oh, don't look like they've done a whole lot, and then the next day you go by and you're like, whoa, that's been a lot of work. So
there were a team of them down there, and they were cutting and putting white lines down and doing all kind of crazy stuff.
I think that's where they're at now. They're kind of the cutting and that part that I think is probably just a little bit slower than the actual putting down the turf itself. So
every time fans, when you drive by, get a chance to pull in at the bus garage end and just take a look at it. It's beautiful, and one day it's just green, and the next day there's lines, and probably in the next day or two you'll see a logo and end zone designs, and our kids deserve this. Absolutely. If nothing else, our kids deserve a good place to play.
Absolutely.
So we are really excited for that. Well, anything else you got for us?
No, I think we're good.
Well, I appreciate you stepping in.
Well, listen, I appreciate you guys. I'll tell people out there, listen, we want to do this as many Wednesdays as we possibly can.
Yep.
I said it earlier, we have a tough time here in this area getting information out. And it's not that we're hiding it from people, but it's just hard to get information out. I want as many people as can to take advantage of this platform, send it to people, and we'll get as much information out as we can to everybody.
Okay. Well, if nothing else, we're going to take a quick break. Coach, we appreciate you coming in.
Thank you guys for having me.
We'll be ready to go Friday night. And, folks, after this break, we will be back, and I think maybe we'll get head coach Jason Nichols, hopefully is here, and we'll get him in the studio before we end the broadcast.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep, thanks.
Rooted in a proud past and reaching toward a bright future, Clay County Schools is where tradition and innovation come together for every student. With 95% of our teachers certified, our classrooms are led by passionate educators who know that learning begins with connection. Thanks to the support of our community, we're now a one-to-one iPad district, bringing opportunity to every hand and every home. From improved attendance to wraparound support through communities and schools, we're lifting up the whole child. As a proud Purple Star district, we stand with our military families, honoring service and building resilience. And with a 95.9% graduation rate, our students are not just crossing the stage, they're stepping into bright futures. This is Clay County Schools, rooted in tradition, driven by progress, and united in purpose, where every student matters, every moment counts, and the future is brighter because of what we do today.
All right, we are back, and the old ball coach is here once again. Coach, how you doing?
Well, you called me old, didn't you?
Yeah. How's things going?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Good. Recovered from that broadcast last night?
Oh, yeah, that was a blast, was it not?
It really was, and somebody mentioned here, I didn't even realize this, like 600 or 700 views or something already. So.
Oh, man, we rivaled Frank Allen Dan of Monday Night Football from years ago, did we not?
It's Jace Allen Dale.
Jace Allen Dale.
That's
I
what
like
we're going to be. We'll talk football here in a minute, but did you catch yourself using any of that volleyball lingo we talked about in practice?
Oh, yeah, return of serve and what?
I had people today at Big Otter Elementary commenting on your return of serve line. They said they love that, and they hope you keep using it anytime we do a volleyball game.
Was it appropriate use of the term?
It was my brother saying it, so he probably doesn't know either. But he really enjoyed it.
Oh, okay. Well,
as long as they enjoy it.
Okay.
When you can understand what it means.
Yeah, as long as it's appropriate. We don't want to say anything that's not up to par.
That's
you
right.
know what I'm saying?
And we do have communication on tap tonight. We were able to talk to Coach Champ, and she gave us some good insight into what she saw.
Okay.
So
what'd she think?
Well, she thought they played hard. She says that these girls have a high volleyball IQ, and that's what they're working on. So,
good.
I don't know. She was impressed, and so were we. And so, overall, even though you're a football coach, I think us three we did a pretty good job last night.
Well,
on the call,
we gave it our best shot.
We gave it our best shot. That's all you can do.
That's right.
Well, let's talk about little football here. So, got one scrimmage under your belt. Got another one coming up this Friday, and before you know it, we will be playing on Friday night against Midland Trail. What's been going on? How's the team looking?
Well, we got a lot of. I wouldn't say we have a lot of inexperience, but we have a lot of kids that maybe are new to a position and new to a responsibility more than. Maybe even new to a position, new to a responsibility. So, we're coming along. We're coming along slowly, but we're coming along slowly on purpose. So we're slowing things down. We've taken out some of the little things you do in practice. The different drills that you do, so that we can spend a little more time in team, whether it's offensively or defensively, to try to make up for some of that. So,
absolutely. Well, Coach Collins, when we had him on, was talking about how you guys have all 5 offensive lineman starters back from last year. Was that the case at the Sherman scrimmage? If it was, what did you like that you saw from those guys out there? Communication, just knowing where to be, being in the right spots?
Well, we had all 5 starters back except for one of them's injured right now. So at the Sherman scrimmage, 4 of the 5, with one of them that we set out due to injury. Hopefully he'll be back sometime soon. The thing about Sherman was Sherman ran something that we wasn't expecting, and they ran something that we. Obviously, you don't scout for a scrimmage, so you don't go in there saying, hey, let's run Sherman plays and things like that, because you're not there to beat Sherman. You're there to practice against Sherman. Yes. So they came out running a defense that we hadn't practiced against, so we had to adjust on the fly, which is kind of what you want to do in a scrimmage. So.
Well, good.
Were there any surprises, any guys that maybe played a lot better than you expected?
Well, yeah, I thought I wouldn't. I mean, it's hard to say your quarterback played better than you expected. I thought for his first outing, he came out and did some things that were a little more high level than I expected. And then I thought Brody, who was hurt last year, definitely. I think my phone's going off.
Oh,
I
was like, what is that noise?
I think Brody, who was injured last year, didn't get to play much, or didn't get to play at all, and so. But he stood on the sidelines and he watched us, and so he was out there, and he was doing pretty good, and so when you ask were people doing things surprisingly, I wouldn't say surprisingly. I would just say they were like we were talking about being new to positions, new to responsibilities. It was more of a almost, I don't want to say blessing, but it was more of a,
I got you.
Just nice to see that they were coming along to what they were supposed to be doing.
I noticed that, and you mentioned Cooper, the young quarterback, like a play or two early on, a throw went down at the guy's feet, but then it didn't take long, and it felt like he got in a rhythm. One or two completions, and it's like, okay, he's feeling good now. This is looking like Panther offense that we're used to.
Yeah.
And so I thought the same thing. And now Sherman, it was a pretty good football team. From a year ago, won a playoff game and had a lot of those guys back. So I don't know how you felt, but I thought, wow, for a scrimmage, we are coming along well.
I thought that, Sherman, they had Trey Lester. I don't know how many people know Trey Lester, but he's one of the best in the state, and they had some other good football players, and Sherman's well coached, and they run a unique offense. A lot of times, even though they're not spread, they're empty. Because they run a they'll run a trips formation to the left or right, and then they'll have a tight end and a wing to the opposite side, and that creates something that you're not used to seeing, especially early in the season. And to be able to adjust to something like that, takes a little bit of knowledge, and it's a good thing that we had some experience to be able to adjust to that on the fly. So that helped us to look as good as what we eventually did.
Well, there was one play that stuck out to me. Me and Alan were up in the booth watching. And this is when I think Cooper really got his confidence going. When he said, I'm going to throw the ball up and give Joel Elliott a chance to make a play, and Buddy Joel made a play. I would love for people to be able to see that. If you weren't there to see it, try to describe it. He reached up with one hand. Didn't look like he had a chance at it. Snagged it down in, and then he was off to the races. Probably.
Between two guys, by the way.
Yes. It was one of the better high school plays I've seen in quite a while.
Well, actually, it probably ended up being a read that Cooper probably shouldn't have made, and then
one of those no,
yes, one of them no, yes, and then Cooper he threw it up, and luckily when you have a Joel and you have a Jacoby and you have a Cohen and some of the other guys, you have some talent around you. That
sometimes the best thing to do is throw it to your best players.
Yeah, you got to learn to trust them, and you got to trust that they're going to be there where they're supposed to be, and if you talk, you don't want to point anybody out or anything like that, but some of the things that we brought back that were negatives from the scrimmage was, route running was not always helpful sometimes in the scrimmage, and some other things about the scrimmage that was a little bit negative was I would say not necessarily missed or not necessarily missed blocking assignments, but assignments that were like if we call it on versus off, and because they were in a different formation, if not recognizing what's on and what's off. Well, you're on if you're on, and you're off if you're off. It doesn't matter it doesn't
Yeah.
matter what
Yeah.
what the alignment is,
Yeah.
and those were the recognition problems.
Fixable things, though, with
Fixable
practice,
things,
yeah.
Mhm.
You mentioned that, and we were talking, of course, the three of us were talking not on camera about the decisions that the quarterback makes at the line of scrimmage. And fans probably don't know this if you just watch. When they come out of that huddle, correct me if I'm wrong, there's a play call, don't get me wrong, but that could change based upon what's happening. And that's a sophomore out there that is making those different calls and things based on the defense. And that's hard to do.
Right, and that's what I meant with Dylan was he probably should have ran the ball in that situation based upon the alignment, and that's one of my favorite things is a lot of the times you don't always pay attention to things that fans say in the stands and so forth, but every once in a while, in Go-Mart or wherever somebody will say, "Why don't y'all run the ball a little more? Why don't y'all run the ball?" 30 years ago, they'd say, why don't y'all pass the ball every once in a while? But, well, now they want us to run the ball every so often, and my answer to that is, well, we'll run it when they give us a formation to run it. I don't know why, some of these teams give us a formation to guard against the run, knowing we're going to pass it and we'll pass it. So they'll come up here and guard the run, and we're like, okay, we'll pass it again. And well, anyway, they were in a run stop the run formation or stop the pass formation. So we came up and passed it. We probably should have handed it off.
That's a testament how football has changed at the high school level. 20 years ago, 25 years ago, it was call a play, and that's what you're going to run.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what the defense is in. And now it's read the defense, make a decision that's best based on what you're seeing. And that's how the game has changed. Mm-hmm. And it's a lot of – we talk about the kids a lot. That's a lot of preparation. That's a lot of film study. These kids are watching film, and I know I'll see at lunchtime here at the school, you see kids with their laptops or iPads or whatever they have. I'm like, what are you watching? And they're eating their lunch watching film. Yeah. And that's just a dedication to the game, and it's been paying off. Of course, we've talked about the success we've had over the last 5 years, which is really unheard of. I don't know how many games you've won as a head coach, but it has to have been a ton of games, and it's amazing to see what we've been able to do, and it's just year after year.
Yep.
Well, I'm going to transition a little bit here if you allow me to. We just talked to the AD, Coach K, about the field. And he gave us a little bit of update. We're going to get some definite updates, I think, by Friday. They're supposed to do some checking tomorrow. I know you've been down there some. What are you seeing, and how's things looking?
Well, they were cutting out the hashes and the numbers today, and they got the softball infield complete, and they put the batter's box in, and they were working on the foul line down or the baseline or the foul line down the first base side, and they had I think the whole installation of the field is down. Okay, so I believe now it's the next step is numbers and lettering, and then the final step, I guess, would be putting the pellets and
so they're making progress. It's moving right along. It's just kind of a calendar scheduling thing here. We're running out of time getting up to that first game, but they're working as hard as they can trying to get it down, and it looks excellent. Alan commented on that with AD Krajewski. I would just like to point out these kids deserve it. I remember many moons ago, people didn't want to come and play at Bradley Field, opponents, and it wasn't always because they were scared to play us. It was because that field was just in awful condition. We would go down Friday evening before a game, soak up a bunch of water in the middle of the field on sponges as big as this table to try to get it playable for that night. These kids are going to have something now that people are going to want to come and play on it. I remember Nicholas County was one of the only teams we played that had a turf field, and we loved going over there to play. I did anyways.
Yes.
Right.
Even playing at Tech, which felt like you were playing on this stage here underneath the turf, but we felt like we were playing on turf. We felt like we were at a higher level. So I'm excited for the kids to have it. I know a lot of people have different opinions on it, but I'm excited for it. The kids are excited for it, and it's going to be something special for Clay.
Yeah, I think, like you said, everybody has their own opinion, and you're not going to change people's opinion. And then some of it is, I'm not going to say some of their opinion is invalid.
Yeah.
I mean, there's different reasons for what they, for how they feel, and the thing that I just continue to say is there's just so many people outside of football that's going to benefit from it.
Sure.
I know everybody likes to say football, but it's it is more than high school football. It's middle school football. It's pee wee football. It's going to be softball
Yeah.
and middle school softball, and then it's going to be pee wee soccer, and then it's going to be our band. Our band is going to be able to finally have a place to practice, daily, not just when the weather allows them to practice, and put on their shows, and not be afraid that they're going to upset the football coach because they marched in the same spots, and then the PE classes can go down there, and the Little League could have a tournament there, and I mean there's just so many things you can do with a turf field. Track, cross country, could go down there and or track and hurdle without doing it in the parking lot. I remember when I was in school here. I don't know, I may have been teaching. There was a kid here, it was Miss Shafihi's boy.
Yeah.
I remember he was jumping, and he landed in the asphalt, and he's cut all the way down to his knees. Well, that wouldn't have happened on a turf field, So like you said, there's just so many uses. There's so much that, and I'm not saying that, turf field's not perfect. If we had perfect grass,
that's the thing. We did not have that perfect grass,
Sure.
and the soil underneath makes a real difference in how you can grow grass. And I know a lot of hours, and you yourself and your coaching staff put in hours and hours of preparing that field. And I remember when we had grass and you had to try to mix all this stuff together and put it exactly on there, and then if you got too much, it would burn it up. If you got too little, it wouldn't grow. And it just sucks for the kids to have to deal with that. And you mentioned the band. We're going to have Miss Keffer on the show, I think, next week. I was able to talk to her, and she said, yes, she would be willing to do that next week. And you also mentioned cross country. They'd have to run. We learned they run 3 miles a day, so they'd have to run 400 laps around that field. I guess they'd love to do it.
Oh,
we found that out. So, yeah.
Might have to find a way to put a little creek through the middle of it so they can feel like they're actually out on the trail, but that's doable.
Yeah. So, well, I'm excited. Is there anything else that you want to tell us here this evening?
Well, I mean, the only thing I can say is we play Shady in a scrimmage on Friday at 5:30. We've had the wet bulb has got us the last couple of days, and we haven't really. We've had to go inside at the Ag building yesterday, and today we didn't have to go inside, but we had to, remove all of our pads, and then you have to go down there on Friday and
play no matter what.
You have to play no matter what. So, it gets you start to stress about stuff like that. Are you prepared? Are you not? And then, just a few days later, you're, what is it? 9 days now until opening day when the alarm's going to go off, and it's going to be go time. We're either going to be ready or we're not.
That's right.
So it's up to them and up to our coaches to make sure that they're prepared. They have the kids ready to go, and so I'm just looking forward to getting started.
All right. Well, good luck on Friday, and then definitely good luck against Midland Trail, and we'll get the kids back in school here next week. I'm sure all of them are looking forward to that, and be able to talk to some of them as well. And thanks for joining us. I know you've been out at practice all evening, so we appreciate it. It's been hot out there. Yeah. And
I ran off. I'm not sure my daughter knows where I'm at.
She'll be looking for you. Well, let's take a quick break here, 1 minute break, and then we'll wrap things up for the show. But, Coach, again, appreciate you coming in, and we'll get you back real soon.
All right,
Coach.
thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Rooted in a proud past and reaching toward a bright future, Clay County Schools is where tradition and innovation come together for every student. With 95% of our teachers certified, our classrooms are led by passionate educators who know that learning begins with connection. Thanks to the support of our community, we're now a one-to-one iPad district, bringing opportunity to every hand and every home. From improved attendance to wraparound support through communities and schools, we're lifting up the whole child. As a proud Purple Star district, we stand with our military families, honoring service and building resilience. And with a 95.9% graduation rate, our students are not just crossing the stage, they're stepping into bright futures. This is Clay County Schools, rooted in tradition, driven by progress, and united in purpose, where every student matters, every moment counts, and the future is brighter because of what we do today.
All right, Dill, we are back, and our time is nearly up. Learned a lot about those. Good to see Coach Nichols again. Good to see Coach Champ, and about the volleyball team. Now, next week we'll have Coach Stricker from the cross-country team, and we'll see how they do at Riverside, of course, coming up. When did he say they go? Is that the 23rd?
Let me check. I wrote it down here.
Next Saturday?
Yes, August 23rd.
So the 23rd, that's next Saturday. Our cross-country team goes to Riverside. Of course, Friday, as we've mentioned several times here, this Friday, Shady Spring. Football game at Shady Spring. It is just a scrimmage, but I believe they're going to play like a half of football. And then also maybe the JV will get some action too. So
you can get your real first look at them,
yes,
and game action.
Yep.
Even though it might just be a half, you can see what to expect.
And we are going to be live, so fans, if probably not a lot of you are going to be able to travel to Beckley to Shady Springs, watch it right from your couch. All right, we'll be live. Dylan and I are going to travel out there and bring you some Panther football action. Also, the volleyball team, of course, they open up Tuesday. Is that right? Tuesday at Nicholas. So we'll be excited to hear from them. And I don't know, this has been fun.
It has been fun. We plan to do this every Wednesday, bring some different coaches in as the seasons go on. We'll try to get in maybe some basketball, some wrestling. But right now we're focused on volleyball, football, cross country, all those fall sports. So I'm excited, Al. I think this is a good thing for the people of Clay County to be able to sit back and watch it, and maybe get some of these kids some exposure. That's the big thing. Yep.
Absolutely. So, again, make sure you go to our page, hit subscribe, tell all your friends, family members that they want to subscribe. Does not cost anything. We're live on YouTube. We will be live on Facebook by the first football game. I'm not sure if it'll work out Friday or not. There's a weird 60-day thing with Facebook. So, we will be live on both at some point very soon. I want to shout out Andrew Miller, Swolby over at Spencer, WVRC 104.7. Those guys make this possible, along with Clay County Schools. That is the sole sponsor of the show and a sponsor of this everything here that you see. If you're interested in local business, know anybody that's interested in being a sponsor, want to create a commercial, make sure you let us know here at the school or call us, whatever you got to do, get a hold of us, and we'll make that happen. And it's all for the kids. So, I think that's about it. We're going to wrap it up. Again, Dill, thanks for coming down. Appreciate it. It's been fun.
Absolutely. Had fun.
Hope you guys have enjoyed it, and we will see you on Friday, 5:30 p.m. sharp. We'll be on the air probably by 5:15. So we'll see you at 5:15 on Friday. For Alan Tanner and Dylan Vaughn, WVRC, Clay County Sports, it's been a